Inside America's Zombieland, Philadelphia's Kensington neighborhood looks like a scene from The Walking Dead as grim photos show tranq addicts shooting up in broad daylight on sidewalks. The Kensington neighborhood of Philadelphia, known as Ground Zero for the city's drug epidemic, is in crisis due to widespread abuse of an animal tranquilizer called xylazine. Addicts are shooting up in broad daylight, hunched over in a stupor or the streets. Many have raw, gaping wounds in desperate need of medical attention, and there are needles, syringes and garbage littered across the sidewalks. Here, photographs lay bare the shocking scale of devastation in the inner-city area, described by the Philadelphia Inquirer as the poorest neighborhood in America's poorest big city, which is being ravaged by the newly popular and dangerous drug. The city's drug use and violence has run rampant under woke District Attorney Larry Krasner, whose failure to prosecute minor crimes and bail request policies have come with an uptick in crime in the city of brotherly love. Republicans in the Pennsylvania State Senate voted for his impeachment over what they deem a dereliction of duty. The future of the progressive prosecutor remains unclear, as the party line vote was indefinitely postponed earlier this month. Kensington, which up until the 1950s was a bustling industrial district, is now described by the Philadelphia Inquirer as the poorest neighborhood in America's poorest big city. Xylazine leaves users in a blackout stupor, making them vulnerable to violent attacks and rape. The inner-city district has long been a magnet for drug users seeking their next high, but the scale of problems caused by xylazine is shocking even to locals who have become accustomed to such distressing scenes. Philip Moore, chief medical officer for the nonprofit treatment provider Gaudenzia, told the paper that weaning people off xylazine is a complicated procedure. "We'll start treating for opioid withdrawal, and they should be getting better. But we'll see chills, sweating, restlessness, anxiety, agitation," he said. "They're very, very unpleasant symptoms. That's what triggers us that we're dealing with a more complicated withdrawal, that there's more xylazine in the mix." Infections from intravenous drug use. What is intravenous drug use? Intravenous injections rapidly admit drugs into the body by way of inserting a needle into a peripheral vein in the arm or leg. Otherwise known as shooting, slamming, banging, blasting, or mainlining, intravenous injections usually result in a much more rapid availability of the drug into the system. Intravenous injection also leads to a greater risk of dependency and infection from dirty needles or usage of toxic drugs. Why does for drug use produce infection? When it comes to for drug use and infection, there are many factors to consider. Bacterial infections are caused when germs on the skin, or within a contaminated needle, are pushed through the skin and deep into the body. Injecting a substance into the skin bypasses the usual barriers of entry that our body uses to protect us. If infection-causing bacteria reach blood vessels, it can result in infection of the widespread deep tissue, veins, or vascular tissue. Those who inject subcutaneously or engage in skin popping are at higher risk of developing infected blisters, subcutaneous abscesses, or pustules when users share needles or other injecting paraphernalia. Bloodborne infections like HIV and hepatitis C are common. Those who live in poor conditions and engage in intravenous drug use usually have a lack of hygiene and poor nutritional habits that contribute to the risk of getting other infections from shooting up, such as staph is the deadliest skin infection. With over 30 varieties, staph infection symptoms can range from mild to life-endangering. Commonly injected drugs. The most commonly injected drugs are heroin, amphetamines, barbiturates, buprenorphine, benzodiazepine, cocaine, and methamphetamine. Cause of bacterial infections: skin and soft tissue infections. Bacterial infections often arise from injecting a needle into fatty tissue beneath the surface layer of skin. Veins that leak during injection along with toxic drug usage can cause infection as well as tissue morbidity. The presence of bacteria on the skin surface while injecting can also result in bacterial infection. Types of bacterial infections: abscess, botulism, cellulitis, heart valve infection, HIV infection, AIDS, liver disease, tetanus. The spread of the HIV virus across China, Central Asia, and Eastern Europe closely corresponds with the rapid rise in intravenous or for drug use. Signs of infection. If an infection is present in bodily areas that are frequently injected, the injection site will become tender, warm to the touch, and red. A frequent pattern of injection causes infections that lead to discoloration, scarring. A person with swollen lymph glands that has a high fever and heavy sweats may need immediate medical attention. These needle infection symptoms are signs of an overdose or a toxic reaction to a substance. For example, black tar heroin is named after its tar-like consistency. It contains many additives and contaminants that can cause local infection, blood clots, and damage to the following organs: lungs, kidneys, brain, liver. Actor and more stars who died from fentanyl overdoses. Fentanyl has become one of the deadliest substances on the planet. The powerful narcotic, a synthetic opioid that's cheap to produce, is frequently mixed with recreational street drugs or prescription painkillers, creating a terrifyingly lethal combination that continues to claim more lives with each passing day. We're taking a look back at some of the bold-faced names we've lost to fentanyl over the years. Former child actor Adam Rich, who's best known for his work as Nicholas Bradford, the youngest son on the 70s and 80s ABC show 8 is Enough, died at his home in Los Angeles in January 2023. He was 54. 5 months later in June 2023, the Los Medical Examiner Coroner's Office confirmed that the star died from the effects of fentanyl and ruled his death accidental. If anyone has connections with Narcan, I reached out to inquire about obtaining some. Unfortunately, it seems that I am unable to acquire it because I lack the necessary affiliation. Is it really necessary to be associated with a specific brand in order to provide assistance? Regardless, I am grateful for any assistance provided. It's crucial for me to have Narcan on hand in order to make a difference in the Kensington area. I hope that my plea for Narcan will be heard, and that I can secure a few doses to help save lives in the community.